The Gospel according to John 20, 1a, 2-8. On the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene ran and went to Simon Peter and to the other disciple whom Jesus loved, and told them, "They have taken the Lord from the tomb, and we do not know where they put him." So Peter and the other disciple went out and came to the tomb. They both ran, but the other disciple ran faster than Peter and arrived at the tomb first. He bent down and saw the burial cloths there, but did not go in. When Simon Peter arrived after him, he went into the tomb and saw the burial cloths there, and the cloth that had covered his head, not with the burial cloths but rolled up in a separate place. Then the other disciple also went in, the one who had arrived at the tomb first, and he saw and believed. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Reflection. From the Gospel, we know that John was the brother of James and the son of Zebedee. He and his brother were among the first to be called, together with Peter and Andrew, by Jesus. Today's Gospel reading describes the scene where Peter and the beloved disciple rushed to the tomb of Jesus after being told by Mary Magdalene that the body is no longer there. Although the beloved disciple got there first, he deferred to Peter, who went in first and saw the burial cloths. One of them, the piece that was wrapped around the face, was rolled up in a separate place. When the beloved disciple went in, he saw and he believed. In other words, he understood the significance of the cloth and he knew that his Lord had risen. Later, the risen Jesus will say to Thomas, "Blessed are those who have not seen and have learnt to believe." Here the disciple did not see the physical Jesus. Nevertheless, on the basis of what he did see, he believed. The question is, what exactly did he see? What he saw was that the cloth which had covered Jesus' head was not with the rest of the burial cloths but rolled up in a separate place. Why should that trigger his conviction that the Lord had risen? The book of Exodus, chapter 34, describes how Moses, after coming down from the mountain and conversing with God, was so radiant with light that people were afraid to approach him. And so, he put a veil to cover his face. But whenever Moses entered the presence of the Lord to converse with him, he removed the veil until he came out again. On coming out, he would tell the Israelites all that had been commanded. Then the Israelites would see that the skin of Moses' face was radiant, so he would again put the veil over his face until he went in to converse with the Lord. Exod 34:34-35. Now some believe that the word veil used in John is a Greek translation of the word in Hebrew used about Moses. In other words, the veil covering the face of the dead Jesus is now no longer needed because he has gone face to face with his Father. This veil was the humanity of Jesus which enabled us to look at our God. Jesus now has a new human body, his church. And that was what led to the beloved disciple's conviction that his master had risen to new life. For some commentators, the beloved disciple is not actually John, but represents any person who has totally committed himself or herself to the following of Jesus, anyone who deeply believes and anyone who is passionately fond of Jesus. At times, as in today's Gospel, the faith of the beloved disciple is shown as surpassing that of Peter. While the disciples we know of had fled after the arrest of Christ, it is the beloved disciple who stands with the mother of Jesus at the foot of the cross. Nevertheless, John, as the author of the fourth Gospel and the 3 letters attributed to his name, reveals a depth of faith and insight into the meaning of Christ's life, death and resurrection that borders on the mystical and clearly reveals a faith of extraordinary depth. It is a faith and insight we can pray to have for ourselves.